12,000 years ago, actually 12,004 years ago, because I read about it 4 years ago in a book, and then it was 12,000. So 12,004 years ago, you would be underneath a mile of ice. The Wisconsin Ice Age was just ending. The Wisconsin Ice Age had a glacier that went from the North Pole all the way down to Kansas. That glacier carved up these 5 bathtubs that we call the Great Lakes, carved out these big basins in North America. And there's Superior, Huron, Michigan, the handsome Lake Erie, and the wonderful Lake Ontario. Lake Ontario is that way, Lake Erie is that way. So they all flow one into each other. But the cool thing is that Lake Erie is 320 feet higher than Lake Ontario. So how does the water get from here to there? The Niagara River goes and drops 320 feet, but the Niagara River does not go like this. The Niagara River goes like this. And the is Niagara Falls. 180 feet of the 320 feet that the water needs to go down occurs at Niagara Falls. Now, 12,004 years ago, that cliff was much closer to Lake Ontario. As a matter of fact, Niagara Falls 12,000 years ago is right where that bridge is. Alright? In other words, Niagara Falls has receded 7 miles in the 12,000 years since it was born. And it continues to recede a little bit every year, just a little bit. But again, going back in time, it was much closer to Jaden than this gentleman, but now it's going backwards. So let's talk a little bit about power generation. What we do is, before the water goes over Niagara Falls, it's diverted and sent to a reservoir. At nighttime, the reservoir fills up because you cannot store electricity. There's no such thing as big batteries. It doesn't work. But you can store the water that makes the power. So during the daytime, when people need air conditioning and factories are working and they need power, we let the water run downhill. Each one of these little spiny things here, they're called tail races. Water is flowing down them, and then each one of those white squares, that's a generator. That's a turbine that's being turned by the water, and as you can see, the water comes shooting out the bottom there. It's boiling up and so forth, and that's how we generate power. Now, 25% of all the electricity that's used in Ontario, the entire province, is generated right here. 25% of all the energy that's electricity that's generated in New York is generated right here. Big economic deal. This grid, just to give you an idea, in 1983, a $12 part, something that cost 12 bucks, malfunctioned here. The downstream cascading effect put 30 million people without power for one day. That's how connected and how important we are. During World War II, we had anti-aircraft batteries stationed just in case they tried to bomb us. That's how important the power is. So what you're seeing right now is the water returning into the river. An interesting thing, down in the corner there on the US side, you can see some people down there. That is a fisherman's platform. Now, why are they there? Because see how the water's almost like lapping up against them? Well, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. What are the only kind of fish that can hang out in such rough water?
Rough fish.
Big fish. That's the answer. Big old fish. Now, the reason why the big fish hang out down here is because the water that comes through here is a little bit warmer, and this acts like a sushi machine. Those turbines chop up bits of fish that are in the water. So the big fish wait in the corner, and when they see a nice chunk of chopped up fish, bam!
That's what the water knocked down. That's the power. That's what the water knocked down.
I found 3 of them. Okay.
That's what the water.